Hello and welcome to Mellow Labs. On this episode, I'm coming back to a project that you guys asked me to come back to. This is the automatic battery charger. It looks different to where I left it off last January. This is because this is a version I've been playing around for the last week or so, and I actually have something that could work. But before I show you how this one works, let me go over the flaws and things I wanted to fix from the previous version. So first of all, we have a hopper where the batteries go into, and then they find their way down here where there's a servo. When the battery is done charging, it pushes it out, like it flings it off to the side, and then it retracts back and takes a new battery and closes back up again. For the most part, this kind of worked fine. It was kind of a push for the servo to do this push and to hold all that weight behind it. I didn't have the servo fail, but it was definitely loud, and I wouldn't expect it to last for longer than like a couple months. The main problem I had was the fact that I was using two servos. The second servo came into play here when the battery was in this compartment. This second servo would engage it, just push the battery against the contact to actually charge it. This servo would also overheat because when the battery was in the hopper and it was pushing against it, it couldn't stop pushing against it because then the battery would charge. So the entire time the battery was charging, this servo had to put pressure on it. So basically the whole thing was clearly a prototype. So that's where I left the problem for a year. But my brain works funny, and sometimes it will just chew on ideas without me either knowing or willingly being able to stop it. And eventually I had an idea on how to make it better. So instead of using servos, I will use a single stepper motor that will connect to a bigger drum that has a groove for the battery. So the hopper would be up here holding the batteries, and they would fall into this drum bit, where then they would be spun into a second position where the contact with the battery is made. And these contacts here would be made by two springy pieces that would be facing inwards that the stepper motor drum would push the battery onto. So then I can turn that off. When the charge indicator tells me that the battery is full, I can just have a drop chute at the bottom here where this would spin, drop the battery down into, then this would just continue spinning, grabbing another battery, going into the compartment, charging, and repeats the cycle. So I did a few prototypes to sort of play around with the idea and see if it would actually work. I started off by printing these and a drum. I did have a middle piece, but it got lost at some point. So these will have contacts on both sides to hopefully make contact with the battery. This design didn't work very well for the reason that when the drum tries to put the battery in place, it actually just gets caught on the side of that. I did print these in TPU to be soft, but it honestly doesn't make a difference. They're just the wrong shape. So after that I was like, the geometry is going to have to get a little bit more involved. So then I printed out these two, which have a stepping thing, so that when the drum pushes it, it actually pushes the battery up. And that actually worked really well. If I put the drum on here, you can see that the battery actually moves up and down with the stepping. And that would make contact with the other side, which would put just enough pressure on the battery terminals to actually get them to make a connection. To test that I was actually getting a good connection with the battery terminals, I put some of this copper strip tape on it and then pushed the battery into place, and I connected my multimeter to it so that it could read out the voltage of the battery, and that worked really well. The only problem I had with this design is that if I was trying to get the battery to go all the way around, it would actually be too much torque for the motor to pull it through, so it just kind of got stuck, I think, about there. So what I did is I reprinted these but gave the connection part a little bit of wiggle room. Where this bit is cut out, the battery can actually push against it and push it out the other side, which actually fixed the problem I had. So the battery could go all the way through and around. This prototype, nothing really changed. It was just a more enclosed design with the actual battery dropout area and the battery storage area. So after this one, I pretty much just went in and did this version, which is not the final version. This is the alpha, but because mechanically everything is here, the only parts that need actual work is this jumble, but this works perfectly. For this version, I actually made a cutout for a reed switch, and I put 3 magnets on the drum so that I can check what position it was in. Completely unnecessary. I don't need it at all. So yeah, as you can tell, we've got strips on the side that make contact with the battery, which then goes into this, which is a nickel metal hydride battery charger module, which works really well. With these modules, you can actually change how many batteries you can charge with them by changing the resistor. This was set up for charging 2 batteries at a time, but because I'm only charging 1, I changed the resistor to a 22K because that's the highest one I have. It's supposed to be 24K, but it works just fine. As you can see, that just needs 5 volts in, and this little LED that's on here will stay on when it's charging the battery. So as soon as I put a battery in, that LED comes on, which is why there's a little funky wire attached to it. And as soon as that battery is done charging, that LED goes off. So the Raspberry Pi Pico is sensing the voltage on that LED. When the LED is off, it's getting 3.2 volts, which tells it that the battery is not in, and it can keep spinning the drum to try to get another battery. And then as soon as another battery goes between the connections, the LED comes on, which drops the voltage that the Raspberry Pi Pico reads to 1.8 volts, which tells it to, hey, we've got a battery, we can stop the motor and just chill for a bit. And that's what it does until this LED comes off, and then it spins again and drops the battery back out and grabs another one, and the cycle repeats. It's actually pretty neat. So because of the LED working as well as it does, it kind of works like an interrupt. So as soon as it comes on, it stops the motor. I don't need the reed switch. So with all that out of the way, it's time to make the final actual working version. There's a couple things I'm going to change, but for the most part, it's going to be this, but in a nice small package. And consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you. All of the parts finished printing in about 10.5 hours on a single build plate. I did have some supports fail, but that didn't actually affect the quality of the print, so I didn't need them anyway. All of the parts weighed in at 78 grams, 79 if you're counting the supports. The majority of this project is in the circuitry. I started off by desoldering the stepper motor driver from the little PCB board it comes with, so that I can put it on a prototype PCB board just to keep it all nice and compact. I added some standoff pins to the battery charger module so that I can actually solder it down to the PCB board, but also to get it off of the PCB board. I don't want them to be completely touching because the battery charger module does tend to get a little bit hot under load. I've measured it at 65°C, so passive airflow wouldn't hurt. Before I lay out any of the components on the prototype board, I'm marking out where the mounting holes are on the PCB board, and I'm just drilling them through for later. After which I laid out all of the components and soldered them down. You probably would have noticed that I switched from the Raspberry Pi Pico to the D1 Mini. I will regret this decision later, don't worry about it. And then came my favorite part, all of the individual wiring. I don't know why I like this so much, there's something therapeutic about it, but I've started recording it less and less because it's very difficult to turn into a video. So skip. In here you can see me just going around checking all of my connections with a multimeter, making sure I don't have any shorts, and it all seems fine, so it's time to flash the ESP. And this is where the problem started. For some reason, flashing the D1 Mini with MicroPython has just become super difficult, and my success rate is like 1 to 10. Like, I just don't get it. I thought it was a driver issue. It's not a driver issue. I'll flash it, and the little LED on it just goes apeshit. I plug it into my computer, I try to get Thani to connect to it, and it just spazzes out. I don't know what's wrong with it. If you have a clue, please let me know. My second problem was that the D1 Mini, for whatever reason, could not drive the stepper motor. I had all the inputs correct, I had it powered off of a separate power source, it just wouldn't budge. At best, I got a wiggle, which just kind of added to me not wanting to use it. And then the final nail in the coffin, the D1 Mini's analog input pin has a max voltage of 1 volt. Now yes, I know I could have used a voltage divider, blah blah blah, but at this point I was just done with its beep, so I replaced it. It took like 45 minutes, but after that 45 minutes, everything worked perfectly So with all of the electronics done, we can finally assemble the charger. Let's start with a little bit of cleanup. There are 2 pieces of supports you have to remove from the flexible parts, and that's it for the cleanup. Now I'm putting in some threaded heat inserts. Now you don't actually need these, you could just use some self-tapping screws, but I want it to be fancy. I modeled holes for 10 inserts, but I only ended up using 2 for the PCB board, so you could get away with 8. Now we need to attach the copper tape. I recommend putting it in at a slight angle to the way the battery would enter the chamber. It's a little bit fiddly to put it in, especially on the deeper part, but I have faith in you. Use some tweezers and you'll be fine. I recommend doing a practice run on the thin side as it's a lot easier. And then to the copper tape, solder 2 pieces of wire long enough so that they can reach the back and be connected to the battery charger. And then you can just drop the drum into the middle and close it up with some M3 screws. Now it's time to attach the motor. I'm going to start off by saying I don't love the way I designed this. I couldn't come up with a better way of printing this without using a whole ton of supports. We start off by taking the shaft that will go in the drum. It attaches to the motor with a headless screw. I tapped this hole. You don't really need to, but I did it just to make the screw go in easier. And then you attach the 2 little standoffs to the servo motor. Apply a good amount of glue to the standoffs. Then you can push the shaft inside of the drum and just hold it against the side until the super glue dries, or hit it with some activator if you have that. Like I said, I'm not super proud of this design. I try to not use glue wherever I can, but it works. And then to finish it off, we just have to connect the 2 battery terminals to the battery charger module. Keep note of plus and minus, they're kind of important. And that's it, that's all it takes. You now have your very own automatic battery charger. If you'd like to make one yourself, the files are available through my Patreon. I have Amazon affiliate links for all the components. You don't have to use them, but if you do, I get a tiny kickback. If this video gets 100 likes, I will make more versions of this for other rechargeable batteries. I'll see you in next week's live stream. Goodbye. In the process of making this video, I realized I don't actually need to use a stepper motor driver for this. I could just use one of these cheap DC motors and it would work exactly the same. See you.